Good afternoon. Am I audible? Can you hear me? Okay. Yes, we'll continue with the module 5. We have started with the topic how to publish any mobile app in the Google Play Store that we have discussed in the previous class. That is the chapter number 15. Now we are going to discuss about the database. Which database that they are going to use in the mobile app. See, one of the database that they are going to use is Firebase. I think you have heard this name Firebase. This is the one they are going to use uh, to store some data of the of your app. See, and also we are going to discuss the ads for your mobile, how to set the ads or how you can make money from the ads that we are going to discuss. In that, first we'll start with the database called Firebase. What actually this Firebase is, which whether we have only one database for the apps? No, you have so many other options are there. SQLite. In that way, you have so many other options are there to interact with the database. But we are going to discuss here uh, one of them, that is Firebase. Who is the vendor of this Firebase? Is Google itself. They have provided this database. Whether the only the Android app developers they have to use? No, even the Apple iOS app developers, the web app developers, everyone can use this Firebase. If you have some information about relational database RDBMS, it is no way related to the RDBMS. In the relational database, you will have rows and columns. There is a concept of rows and columns. They are going to store all the values using the rows and columns, but here it is somewhat different in the Firebase. Okay, whether the Firebase is used for just to store the data? No, even you can test your app, even you can earn from the app, or you will get the statistic analytics of the app. For so many others features are also there in this Firebase. It is not just only it will help you to store the data. It will have some other features like testing the app, earning the revenues, or to get the analytics. Analytics means how many of the people are using your app. All those that statistics you are going to get about your app from this Firebase. Okay. Actually, how to use this? Where we have to see this Firebase? See, if you go to this address, I'll show it here. See, this is what the address, console.firebase.google.com. If you have one Gmail account, it requires one Gmail account to log in. After that, see here, you can create a project. With the project which is going to interact with this Firebase. You have to create one project, and from your mobile app, it has to interact with this project. Even you can have multiple projects here, but your mobile app, it is going to integrate with, or it is going to work with one of the project, because multiple apps you can will communicate with this multiple projects. Okay. This is where console.firebase.google.com. This is the link where you can create a project for Firebase, and then you can use it in your mobile app. Whenever you create, what is the first thing you are going to see is it will show you the welcome screen that we have seen now, and also the button to create a new project. You have so many other features are there that if you start using the Firebase, you are going to get. What is the analytics you are going to get from the Firebase? From the Firebase, you can see where your exactly the app is being getting used, where the location, and how the your your app is being used. All that analytics that you are going to get, and also how many people they are going to use over the time, and also from different locations, from which country, where they are using your app. That informations you are going to get from this Firebase. But what you are not going to see is, which is anonymized, is the actual identity, who is exactly using your app. That informations you are not going to get. If you give that much of informations, uh, then it may be a problem may occur because of the security issues. Who is the actually using this app? Who is the user? If that information is being displayed, means then it creates a problem. It will become a security issue. That is why that informations you are not going to get. Who is going to use your app? Okay. If you want this type of analytics, what are the things you have to add in your code, your app, that should be linked to the Firebase project? After that, in your Android Studio, you make sure you install the Google Play services. Okay. After that, there is a file called build.gradle, that you know, right? Build.gradle, Gradle files. In that Gradle file, you have to add this line, some dependency, compile com.google.firebase core version. You have to add this line. So many times I have opened this build.gradle file. There you have to add one more entry like this. If you add this much, there is no other code is required to get the other information, like who is using, means how, when, where people they are going to use all these apps. In order to get all these informations, no need to add any code for that. Automatically it is going to send you that information. Okay. This is what the analytics. See here, even you are going to get what all the actions that will be done by the user, whether he is going to click on the button, whether he has opened a separate screen, all that you are going to get using this analytics event. Everything that will be logged, it will be stored somewhere. That will be stored somewhere. And if you want to see at the end of a month, after 30 days, if you want to see the analytics, yes, you can go to the Firebase console. There you have to select analytics, and in that dashboard you are going to get all reports of last 30 days, what all the actions that will be done, what all the default analytics you are going to get, how many of the numbers are using, which are the mobiles or the computers or with tablets, or which devices they are going to use your app, which location, from which part of the world the users are using this app, and some information about the gender, which is the app version, and other some more informations. All these informations you are going to get by default. Some other extra informations, if you want, some part of the coding you have to do. Okay, these are the default analytics. Even if you don't request also, that data will be already available. See the other kind of analytics. What is the another kind of analytics is? It is about the events. What type of events the person is going to do, whether he has clicked on a button or any other event. For that, we have a class called Firebase Analytics. You have to create an instance of that. See, Firebase Analytics. object name equals Fireblade analytics dot get instance. If this function, it is going to give you the object of this class. See, no need to use the keyword called new. You can directly use this function called get instance of this, that will give you the object of this Firebase analytics. With this uh, object, there is a function called log event that will send the usage data. That is going to send you the usage data about your app. Here there is a second argument called null. What this information is, if you want to give some more information about the event, that you can create a bundle object. In that bundle object you have to put some data, and then you have to send it as a second argument. Okay, these are the default analytics. And if you want to give some more information to your project in your app, if you want some more statistics, then you have to add this much of code. This is the code you have to add in your app, that will give some more informations in your app itself. This is all about the analytics. Do you have any doubts in this? Do you have any doubts in the Firebase analytics? Yeah, am I audible? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Next is Firebase notifications. See, some messages you can send to all the users of your app. A single broadcast message. You are the owner of the app. You want to send some message to all the users of your app. That option is there in the Firebase. This Firebase notification in the console, Firebase console. See, where is the Firebase console is here. Whenever you create a project, example, some mad demo project. Accept the argument. See that what information I have giving the location where exactly I am using it. See here, this is what is going to create the project. I've given the project name as MED demo project. Whatever the window that you are going to get, that is called as the project console. Okay, see now the project is been created. If I want to do anything, if I want to store anything, everything, it is under this project itself. See here, if I do anything here, that will all, it will be included in this project. Now, in order to create, I can create the project. See, this is how it's you are going to create. You can start adding the name and value. Name 1, that is the name I have given. Here, key value pair. This is how the data gets stored inside the project, mad demo project. Okay, from this Firebase, if you want to send an information, some information to all of the users or some sort of selected users, then you can type a message in the notification section of the console, and then you can send the message that will reach only a particular user or subset use of the user or all of the users. However, you are going to select, in that way the message will be sent. What exactly the Firebase in the background it is going to use? The Firebase will use cloud messaging technologies to send the information to the targeted devices. What is the best practices for sending this notification? What we have to follow is, the best practices is always you have to send only the notifications which are important. You should not irritate the users by sending unnecessary all the informations to the user. Project is created, project is been deleted, project some attribute name is been changed. All the informations you should not send as a notification to the user, because that is not at all required. And all the other best practices of sending the notification, the same uh, practices you have to follow. What are the best practices which we have already seen? With that, these are the extra two is only the important notification you should send, and also you should not irritate the users by sending too many. Okay, how actually we are going to store the data? We discuss now analytics and the notification. Now we will go for actually how we are going to store the data. Firebase real-time database. Just now have shown, right? Real-time database. This is the one. Okay, you are going to create some data here. See this data, mad demo project default. There is a key called name and value is value one. Okay. If the app, if it is, see, this is a separate website, right? In this website you have a data. Your mobile app is somewhere. If the mobile app, if it is being connected to the internet, then the data will be synced with the data which is being present in the database. If the app goes offline, means if the app is not connected to the internet, then even the data will be available, but the latest data what is there in the database that not be available. Once it connects, it is going to sync, means the latest data that gets updated in your app. Example, see here, from the mobile app, you have changed this value 1 to value 2. You have opened the browser and you have changed. But if your mobile app, it is not connected to this website, this project, because your app doesn't connect it to the internet. If it is not connected to the internet, then the value 2 will not be available in your app. Just the value 1 will be seen in your app. Once your app gets connected to this, it gets the value 1 will be changed with the value 2. That is the meaning of sync. Data will be synced to the latest state of the database. How actually in the database it is stored? As I said, in the SQL, the data will be stored in the form of rows and columns. How means, it will be like this. In the database, in this way, data will be stored. There will be a name, then age, then salary, address, pin code. In this way, there will be a columns. There will be a column name. Then we are going to add the data for that. This is what the rows and columns. In this way, we are going to store in SQL database. But this structure, rows and column structure, we are not going to use in case of Firebase. What is the structure they are going to use is this is called as JSON structure. JSON. This JSON structure, how it contains, it is like a tree structure. See, there will be a, uh, here is one example of JSON tree of books. Okay. If you are going to store the information related to the books. This is an some identifier. Books is a broader information. That book information you are going to store. Open the flower brackets, close it here. Book 1. What is the title of that? Who is the author? Open and close brackets. See, this is another one more entry. Book 2, that is within the double quotes, colon. Within the flower brackets, what is the key? What is the value? What is the key value? The third row. This is what the tree structure. In this way, this is a JSON structure which is always associated with the key. In this way, it is getting stored in the Firebase. In the SQL database, the data gets stored in terms of rows and columns. If you want to get the data of this, what is the movie title where the main role is Batgirl, or how to add one more movie to this, okay, programmatically. If you want to add, we have a separate functions for that. See here, in order to we always retrieve the data items by the location. See some two activities: Firebase demo, the project name, then inside that database data, inside that books. Then if you give this much of address, then you will get a access to these books. You have to give this location. You cannot directly give this name books. For that, you have to add this much of address. Two activities: Firebase demo, database dot data. Then inside that, you are going to get books, or here you can change it with movies. Once you have given the address, then you can get the values. You can get the values or you can store the values. For that, there is a function. What all the extra coding you have to do in the build.gradle file. In the build.gradle file is whenever you want to use this Firebase, you have to add this line: compile com.google.firebase firebase-database. This you have to add it in build.gradle file. One more step is you have to include this Firebase project in your app. That setting, everything, it is available in the Android Studio, that you have to link. After linking your app to the Firebase project, you have to add this line in the build.gradle. After then you can start coding. See here, what exactly it is there in the book. There will be a title, there is an author. Okay, just leave this constructor, default constructor. If I pass title and a author, that gets set to this method. Okay, don't worry about this class. First we'll see the functions, how to add the data to the Firebase programmatical. There are functions. There is a child function is there. There is a set value function is there. Child function, what it is going to give, it will give you the child node. See, child node is this one. Movie 1, movie 2, movie 3. These are the child nodes. This is the main node. These are the child nodes. The child method will give you the access to this. What about the set value? Inside that child, you have to create a node and you have to set the value. See now. Now, if you want to add, suppose book 4, I want to add book 4. That the title is how to edit data and the author is an editor. If you want to add this, I'm talking about the main activity. Inside the main activity, I'll get the address of that. Firebase database dot get instance get reference of books. If what this books it is going to get the address is, it is going to get the address of this node. After that, you can add entry inside this node. If you want to add it to the movies, you have to give the name movies here. Where? Here. Get reference movies. Then you can add movie data. I'll write one custom function. In the custom function, add new book. Book ID I will pass. Title, author. See the function. This reference, because we want the address. Inside the address dot child. The child will give you the address of that particular node. See, this is what the book ID. Then inside that you are going to pass book object. What it contains? Title and author. If you pass like this, what it is going to do is, it is going to add one more. That is book 4. How to edit the data. If you actually open the Firebase console and check, you will see the data like this, an editor. If you want to add like this in this way, you have to write this class and this much of code. You have to pass like this, add new book, then book 4, how to edit data and an editor. From here the call will go here. Then dot child set value, it will pass this book object. Then that gets entry in the Firebase console. ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಬರುತ್ತದೆ. Okay, this is how we are going to add the data inside the Firebase console. Whether we have any options, as I said, there is an option for testing your app on different devices. The Google data centers have so much of different devices are there, that each devices it will give you the report of the test run. You have a software called Test Lab that will create the robot test, and it will run you this run your app on the different devices. You no need to purchase all the devices and start running your app. The Google it is going to provide the flexibility to test your app on different devices. All those different devices, they are going to host in the Google data centers. From there, your app will get run on the different devices, and it will give you the report on the results. Okay, this much of flexibility is there with the Firebase. How to make money from these apps? In 4 ways you can make money from these apps. One is premium apps that you have seen, freemium models, subscriptions, and ads. What is this premium model is? If you want to download the app itself from the Play Store, you have to pay. You are going to develop the apps, And that app, from that app, if you want to make money, then what you have to do is, whenever you upload itself, then you have to set the amount for your app before they download. They have to, the users has to pay for your app to download from the Google Play Store. In that way, if you do, you are going to get the money. If you want to set this, if you want to set the amount, if you make your app as a premium, then there should be sufficient stuff in your app. If that stuff is not there, the users is not going to download your app. Okay, something it should be useful for the users. Your app, something should be useful, then only the users will pay and download your app. In that way you can make money by the premium model. What is this freemium model is, your the users will download the app for free, but some of the functionality some of the functionality, it will be available as free, but if you want to use some other advanced features, they have to pay. The users has to pay for the upgrades or any other purchases. That is called as freemium model. You have seen these type of apps. Many of the apps will be like this. It will be a freemium model, means you can easily download, freely available, but if you want to upgrade, then they will ask you to pay. In that way you can, this is the best way of doing the money, freemium model. And subscriptions is, some of the features it will be available for only 30 days. In now what all the apps, subscription, Netflix, Amazon, all these things that will be work in this way itself. Subscription. After some month, 2 months, 1 month, you have to pay. Once again, if you want to use that app for another duration, then you have to pay. That is all the subscription model. In that way, also the app developer they can make money. The last option is ads. In order to download, it is free. The app will be in the running mode, but you are going to display the ads on your app. When the users click on the app, then when the user clicks on the app, that will the user is going to get the money. Okay. In these ways, the app users can make money. This is called as monetization models. This is an important question. Monetization models. Okay. See, in order to display the ads, whether directly the ads will come on your app is different. Ads are somewhere. How the ads that will be displayed on your mobile? Some Surf Excel advertise, some movie advertise, some trailer. How it is going to come to your app? You have to create a layout. Inside that layout, your app should come. Then some programming you have to do for that. That you should remember. Automatically, the apps will not come to your app. You have to provide the area where exactly the app should come. Okay, that is what the next topic called ad mob. Ad mob means advertisement ads for ads on mobile. Google has done so much of work on getting the advertisers to the your app, but whenever the money comes, that money is going to be shared with the Google also. The total amount that will be paid by the advertisers, that will be shared between the Google and the owner of the app. The Google has a big repository of the ads. that will be displayed on both the websites and also the mobile apps. What we have to do is we have to do some programming in order to get the ads on your mobile. So to display the ad in your app, what layout you have to do is you have to add this ad view. If you create this in the layout of the activity, in that location itself, the ad will be displayed. It is not going to disturb the content of your app. It is not going to disturb the content of your app. Okay, but wherever this ad view will be there in the layout, there exactly the advertisements get loaded. Google is going to handle that, the ads that will be displayed on the layouts. It has so many tools are there. Even it is going to create, it has a separate tools for creating the ads also, and also where exactly it should come, means targeting criteria. Just what we have to do as the app developers, we have to create a layout, we have to show the place where the app should get displayed. The Google will handle how to display the ad. Whenever the user clicks on the apps or the advertisement, uh, we are going to get the money. But what Google is going to get, that amount that will be paid by the advertisers, that will be distributed between the Google and the publisher of the website. In this way, the Google will also get the money, the publisher of the website or the app will also get the money. For advertisement company, they are going to get, they'll get marketing. Okay. If I'm the publisher of the website or the app, if I click on the ad, there is of no use. I'm not going to get money if I just click on my app itself. We should not do that. Google has a policy. That policy, what they say in that policy is the website publisher or the app publisher, if they click on their own websites, they will not get any amount for that. We should not do that also. How to create the AdMap account? See here, in the Firebase console, there is an option like this to select the and add mob. Firebase console ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ತರ ಒಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ, sign up for add mob. There we have to sign up. Inside the Firebase console, there is an option called add mob. There we have to sign up. Whenever we sign up means if you give some account information, then that will redirect to AdMap console. There, inside the AdMap console, what you have to do is you have to create an account. Then we should add your app to this AdMob. What you are doing now is you are just linking your app with the AdMob. Whenever you link, then only the ads will come in your app. Okay. To display an ad in your app, what is required is there will be an app ID, an identifier will be there, add mobile app ID and add unit ID. Some unique IDs are there that is required, that you are going to get it in the console, add mob console, where here itself, if you sign up here, you are going to get that information. Some unique ID. That ID will be used for linking between your app and add mob. Some more steps you have to do in the ad mob in order to implement this ad mob in your app. Make sure you add your app to the Firebase project. That we have to do, that we have already done. Our app is linked with the Firebase. Then if you want to add this ads, then you have to add this in build.gradle file, com.google.firebase firebase-ads. If your app supports ads means Then you have to add this build.gradle file. Then we should show some slot where actually it should display the ads. You can see here, see here. Here we have created a layout, ad view layout. In this block itself, the ad will be displayed. This is the place. And the rest of the activity means it is our content. Okay. Then we have to initialize inside the ad mobile, and we have to update on create. These are the 5 steps we have to do. See, we want there will be a unique information about your device. Your device ID we are going to get it from IMEI. You know about this IMEI, right? That is an unique number for your device. What is the unique number for AdMob? That you are going to get it from the AdMob console. Whenever you link your app with the AdMob, you are going to get some ID, app ID and unit ID. That you are going to get it from this console. Your phone, but your phone, if you want IMEI number, you can dial like this, or if you go to this settings about phone status and IMEI, that you are going to get it. See, even you can test before you publish your app how the ad will get displayed in your app. Even you can test that also. In order to create this layout, see the small box what you are seeing now, in order to display that, this much of code you have to add. What is the ID? What is the width? What is the height? What is the margin left? 16. Horizontal. This should look like a banner. Some ID. Inside that banner, there should some ID, some unique number. If you add this much, you will see this box here. This is the box that you are going to see. As I said, you are going to initialize. In order to initialize the mobile ads, there is a function called mobile ads.initialize. Then you have to pass some ID which you are going to get. This is one example of the app ID that you are going to get. ಈಗಿನ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಆ್ಯಪಿಗೆ ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ID ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ, some number. This is one sample. In this means in this class itself, in this screen itself. If you add this much, that is going to initialize the ad mobs in your app. Now, in order to load the ads into your app, means in this location, in this place, if you want an ad, what all the things you have to do? You have just created now this box. You have just created now. Now the advertisement gets loaded inside this. It should be loaded inside this view, ad view. For that, what we have to add is, this is what the code. See here, find view by ID, r.id.add view. What it is going to give, this will give you the access to this box. Now you have got the access to this ad view. Add request.builder.add test device. See, this is what we are testing now. We are testing now. Add.test device, add request, some emulator. With the emulator information we have given, and some device ID we have given, dot build. Now this is ready. The code is ready to test the ads. Add view dot load add request. Now see, this is the layout. Inside this box, dot load add means inside this add request, some ad it is going to display inside this load. This is how you are going to test some any ads that will be displayed inside this box. This is an access to that box. This is one advertisement request. Then this advertisement request gets loaded inside this ad view, and you will see the ad in the testing mode. In the real time, you don't know which ad it is going to come. If you want, you can do any changes inside this ad request itself. This is how we are going to test it. How an advertised ad will come inside your layout. Okay. This is all which is there inside this chapter called Firebase and AdMob. Okay. Firebase and AdMob. This is the database, and this is a place where we add the ads to the advertisement to the mobile. Okay. This is all about this. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Or in the next class, we'll discuss the permissions, the performance, and the security. Okay. See, we have discussed the lesson 14 and 15. In the next class, we'll discuss this lesson 13. What all the permissions, how you can improve the performance, and how to provide the security. Okay. You can send your attendance and you can exit.